Hey, yes, sir. It's Josh Alphonse. Man, we're back. Pivot Balcony Bar. We're a level above Pennsylvania where things are happening down here before game number 4 of the NBA Finals. Pacers up 2-1, best of 7, game 4 tonight, 8:30. Coverage begins here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. That is the tip time. 8 o'clock with Pacers Radio. Pat Boyle and Mark Boyle and Eddie Gill have you covered right here. Dev's the on-site engineer. Chris and Kevin in promotions. Nathaniel Finch is doing an outstanding job back at the studio. We have been busy throughout the course of the afternoon, and now we're going to slip into the evening. Thank you to Casey and to Matt for doing the Colts daily update, or the last word, as I should say, on this Friday night. Sometimes it's easy to forget with all that is going on with the Pacers, but this is absolutely fantastic. Hey, shout out to my man Tim over there. Tim is the general manager here at Pivot with the Hyatt House. What a great restaurant and bar this place is. And Tim, thank you very much. You and Ben are absolutely outstanding, my brother. Thank you. This is such a great place to go to pregame before anything you do at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Right here, the Pivot Balcony Bar with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Joey Molinaro is going to join us. Hey, Joey, come over here. Patrick, go ahead, if you wouldn't mind. Go ahead and hand off to Joey right there, that headset. Joey Molinaro is going to join us. Jeff Rickard from the morning show, he's also our program director, is joining us live here. Good to see you. You and Joey and me right here. This is one hell of a way to end this bad boy, isn't it?
This is exactly how it should be.
Oh, hell, it is great. Is this not a great place?
This is outstanding. This is actually first time I've been up on the balcony here at Pivot.
Yeah.
This is terrific. This is the place to be, John. This is the place to be.
It is, and the last time I was on with JMV was Carb Day, so we're trying to double that party. Start going in tonight into game number 4.
Joey, are you going to the game tonight?
I'm going. Are you restoring order?
I am going. I'm going to go with Tommy S. from Coaches tonight.
You got your shoes on?
We got the shoes on.
Yes,
we're
sir.
unbeaten in the shoes and unbeaten with Tommy S.
Let's go.
So I'm feeling good about game
Restore
number
the
4.
order, John.
How are you feeling?
You know, I'm feeling good. People have been asking me a lot today. They said, hey, they going to do it? And I said, you know, they can do it. I don't know if they will do it. They can do it. And we're going to will them to victory tonight, right, Jeff?
Tonight's the night. I think, I was talking to Chris Denari. If they come out in the first quarter and have the second quarter from game 3, this place is going to, we talk about it's going to be electric. It's going to explode. This place is truly, the roof might not contain everyone.
Good. I hope so.
So where do we begin with that? Jeff, just play off of that a little bit as far as what we haven't seen, because the one thing we haven't seen, the Pacers up 2-1, best of 7, is their best performance yet.
I was just about to say that, JMV, because I told my boy Cam, caller Cam over there, I was like, you know what? Pacers are up 2-1.
Shout out to Cam, by the way, too. I did Cam.
Caller Cam. And I feel like they played 2.5 good quarters, 3 good quarters.
Maybe.
So I'm like, let's put together at least 3. Let's put together a full game. Let's shoot 40% from beyond the arc. And I think they're going back to OKC up 3-1. We're due for it.
Yeah, they were 27%. I'm sorry, 33%, 9 of 27 from three-point range in the last game. If they get on one of those rolls where they're all hitting threes, Miles is popping from the top, and hopefully he feels better tonight. You get Nesmith doing his thing. Maybe Thomas Bryant hits one. You get Obi coming in. We've seen those nights. I'm not just wishing and hoping here.
No.
You get one of those nights, this team is going to be really difficult to beat in this particular venue.
Let's talk about, fellas, the difficulty that OKC is going to be, because they have been the best team by far in the NBA this season. And this is not something where they're just going to fade into the night coming up in game number 4, because you saw the Pacers take it to them in OKC fashion at the end of that game on the defensive end especially. What's their response, Joey, coming up tonight in game 4?
Well, I guess hope and pray that Scott Foster, the old equalizer, doesn't come in, the extender, and make things happen there for OKC, right? But, man, I tell you what, the approach that you had, and I heard that you were talking about it yesterday, JMV, because I listen every day. The kind of boxed field they had on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He was just a non-factor.
He was.
He was just a total non-factor.
Well, it's funny because he can roll out of bed and getting 30, and we hold him to 24. Man, that's a feel-good moment for your defense.
He was put in NIM hell. On
like
Wednesday night. And, your boy Miles Turner. coming up when it matters in the fourth quarter.
I want to see him get a block and then puke after something like that.
Absolutely stifling Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren was looking for collard greens, oxtail. He's looking for all that after that performance that Miles had on him on Wednesday night, man.
That's great. Jeff, the response you expect to see from OKC, which is going to have
I think you're going to get maybe
it.
their best shot tonight, and that's why I say you're going to have to shoot from three-point range. I think the one thing that the Pacers did really well in Game 3 is they kept, even when Oklahoma City was playing well, they kept it close. They didn't let it get to be 15, 20 points. They kept it 8 at the end of the first quarter. There was a minute where it got a little dicey, but they never really let Oklahoma City live in double-digit leads. That's a key tonight, too.
And I think, it's been talked about so much, JMV, but the fact that the Pacers, when they play at the way they want to play, the pace that they want to play, you can tell that early on, man. And so that's my hope. Come out fast, even if you're down 6-8 like they were on Wednesday night in the first quarter, still get out and run, play your game, establish that pace. Let's get up and down. Only a day between these games, Jeff.
I like that.
Only a day between these games. And they were tired at the end of that fourth quarter. Run them out of the building.
Yep. And very physical, too. At the very beginning of the game, I don't know if you guys noticed, I know they started off with like a 6-2 run to open the game. But defensively, they had already kind of sent the message to Shea that you're going to get bumped around a little bit tonight. This isn't going to be easy. They need to bring him. He's going to have to work off screens. They need to bump him. They need to make him work. And the other thing they did the other night, far more than any other player they had, he took 23 shots contested against several different guys. There was always someone next to him making him work, making him pass, making him. He's a slippery guy, but you got to make him use that slipperiness, and it takes a toll by the end of the fourth quarter. We saw him grabbing his shorts and looking like he was dog-tired in the fourth quarter. I expect Oklahoma City's going to give you everything they got tonight, and it's going to take a great game by the Pacers to win, but it's in them. They've got it.
Yep.
It's Jeff Rickett from The Morning Show, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Joey Molinaro, the established comedian/celebrity, is joining us here.
Dude,
this is way better than my Carb Day introduction.
Yeah,
I don't know if you heard my Carb Day introduction.
Man, I was kind of a mess.
My mom was not proud.
What time were you on the show on Carb Day?
I believe that was about 4 p.m., 4:30.
Hey,
he was already an hour in. You kidding me?
That's way too damn late. Right there.
Hey, we were wondering, JMV, though, how much do you pay for that Twin Peaks flag to be flying up here? We got the.
Let me tell you, right here, right above my head, right here. Hey guys, I do want to talk about this in terms of this matchup. We saw in Game 2. And I mentioned this earlier. You had Wiggins and Caruso combined for 38. In game number 3 for the Pacers, you saw McConnell and Mathurin combined for 37. You can add Obi in there as well.
Yep.
But it seems like that the winner on the bench with the production is ultimately maybe, Jeff, the winner in this game in Game 4 tonight?
That's what made the difference the other night. The bench play in the second quarter when they had that 40-point quarter that was tremendous. That was bench. 27 points from Mathurin. Are you going to get that again? I don't know. But here's the thing. You can get 15 from Mathurin, and you can get 8 from Ben Shepherd, and you get your 10 from TJ, and you start to add those things up over time. Obi Toppin comes with 12 or 14. If you can get into that 40 to 50-point range from your bench, which is where they were the other night, that's going to be difficult for Oklahoma City to keep up with.
But then defensively as well. Sunday night we saw how many times where Pascal Siakam, somebody was kind of falling asleep watching that drive into the lane, kick out to Wiggins, kick out to Caruso, right? But then I think, too, Jeff, not even the bench points that we're talking about, but I feel like Nembhard and Nesmith haven't really even been able to give you anything offensively very much at all so far in this series.
But
and they're due.
And a lot of that, though, to be fair, the other night is they were both so focused defensively on Shea. And
Nesmith was saddled with foul difficulties, too.
But between the two of them, I think they've got I think because the bench is deep, the feeling I would guess from Rick is it's not ideal, but I got 12 fouls to give this guy.
Absolutely. But my point being, kind of go back to what I said at the start of when I came on here, is that we played, 2.5, 3 good quarters so far in the series. You're up 2-1. So my mind is saying, hey, Nesmith is due. Nembhard is due. Miles Turner is due for a 4 3-point game, and I hope it comes tonight.
It's funny, you look at it, and it's such a team effort with the Pacers. I know it's the same thing with OKC, but You mentioned Neesmith and Nimhard and Miles. Between them, did they have 15 points? I mean, that was basically
I think about
it.
15 or 17.
Miles had 9, Nimhard had 7.
Neesmith had 7 the other night.
But think about the timely measures in which were taken by each of these 3 guys down the stretch. I mean, Nimhard had a big shot, Neesmith a big 3 on the wing, Miles a couple of blocks, a couple of makes down low that really got him going because he was feeling bad. It truly is a team effort. I don't know if you see it in the box score, but I think you see it in terms of down the stretch and how they played.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the beauty of it is you don't know if it's going to be number 9, you don't know if it's going to be number 10. I'm talking about coming off the bench. It could be number 9 with
Mather
TJ
was
McConnell.
number 10 and put up 27.
No, that's what I'm saying.
10th guy in the game.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. Insane. Didn't play the entire first quarter. Me and my buddy were looking around going, there's a Mather in minutes over Ben Shepherd, right? And then he comes in second quarter and just totally lights it off. But that's the beauty. And JMV, real quick, I appreciate you having me on.
Yes.
And Jeff, you too. But you have been hammering this point home for really this entire run, especially this last week. And I couldn't agree more. And I just want to drive home to everybody. I mean, I was 6 years old the last time this team was in the NBA Finals.
Correct.
I am absolutely, and as everybody else should be drinking this in, living in the moment. When the ball tips, that's when we'll be on edge. But enjoy this and bring this passion and love for Pacers basketball out because we don't know when it's going to happen again, man. It's not a given. Live in it.
It is not a given, too. I mean, you kind of feel good because you look at the Eastern Conference landscape, whether it's Milwaukee dealing with Lillard or Tatum with Boston, Philadelphia, obviously having to make big decisions. But no, it is not a given that you get right here. You got to take full advantage of it, Jeff.
I also want to point out, I don't know that we collectively do enough of praising Rick Carlisle. The experience that he brings, the insights that he has, the people that he has around him, and the adjustments they've made in every series that we've had so far, I just don't think nationwide, league-wide, probably even here in Indiana, I don't know that he gets enough credit for the imprint that he has placed on this team and how he's allowed them to grow and flourish and be the best versions of themselves they can be, which when you're a coach, your job is to put your players in the best position for them to win, to take advantage of their talents, to take advantage of what they do. He and Kevin Pritchard, look at this team that Kevin Pritchard has put together. I mean, you talk about Obi Toppin.
Buchanan?
Yeah, Knicks didn't want him. Okay, take Obi Toppin.
Somehow,
some way, Sacramento is ready to trade Tyrese Halliburton.
Neesmith.
So he goes and does that. You pick up Neesmith. You get all these guys, and you put them into a perfect situation that takes advantage of the specific skill sets that they each have. And the one thing they all have in common that I think is kind of a skill is that they're all unselfish and they just want to have one more point than the other team at the end of the night.
Jeff, I'll let Joey play off of this, too. That's absolutely a skill. Team camaraderie, get along.
Yep.
That's a skill, much like effort. TJ McConnell said, having effort and playing hard is a skill. So is getting along and being selfless on a team like this. Joey, that's a skill, too.
And to your point, JV, what I was talking about, too, is that's the whole idea of this whole thing, this whole run, is it's the perfect team at the perfect time with the perfect coach and the perfect roster to make history and make something happen that we haven't seen to become NBA champions. And tonight, we're going to go up 3-1, and I'm feeling good about it.
And that goes back to Kevin Pritchard. It goes back to Chad Buchanan. It goes back to Larry Bird, and it goes back to the Simons, too, because they've all allowed everybody to do their jobs.
Yep.
And they've all done it amazingly well. And this team also has time. Look at the contract situations that everybody has right now. They're going to probably have to go over the cap to get Miles back. But everybody else is locked up for a while.
Getting Nimhard when he did.
Exactly.
Getting Neesmith when he did.
It's insane how well this has turned out.
Yep.
It's funny when you look at it, too, is you didn't have to wait so long, but we are now entering. And I know Caitlin Clark's injured, so it doesn't look the same right now.
Come back tomorrow, though.
But it's coming back tomorrow. This is a golden era for Pacer Sports and Entertainment. And I think that's easier said than done. You got to take advantage of absolutely everything. And that's what we're going to see because the Pacers have obviously positioned themselves the best they can. The Fever are doing so right now. This is, as we enter a golden era of Pacer Sports Entertainment, Joey, we've never seen around here.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a lifelong resident here. I've interned with this team. I worked as a greeter with this team. I've seen it all in my 31 years. And you're absolutely right, JMV, and that's why I just can't echo you enough for everybody. Just soak it in. Live in this moment. Don't take it for granted, baby, because, hey, we are entering this golden era, but you don't know what's going to come 2 years down the road.
And you don't even know what's going to come now because
you don't know what's coming now.
Nothing is guaranteed. You know, I love that there is a certain amount, very few, but there's a certain amount of fan base that you either win the championship or you fail.
No doubt.
Like, I got news for you. There's 29 teams every year that don't win the championship in the NBA. There's 31 teams in the NFL that don't win the championship in that league. You can be a great team. You can do great things, but you've got to have a great roster construct. You've got to have the right coaching. You've got to have health. You got to get a break or two along the way. You might have to get a call or two along the way. So much goes into making that happen. I think sometimes we see some of these super teams that make it look easy. You know, when the Warriors were winning a couple of championships a few years ago, they made it look easy, but they just were so much more talented than everybody else. But this team, both the Fever and the Pacers, they've at least put themselves in position to compete for that. And I don't know how much more you can ask.
And the teams you're talking about is much more difficult for the Pacers to do what they're doing compared to others. It just is. I mean, you can say all you want. This is not an "oh, woe is me" comment about Indy, but I think Chad Buchanan has said this to me before, and he's accurate. Like, there are no beaches here except for Lake Monroe. There are no mountains here. I mean, you know, you got what you have here is the willingness to be a part of a team that is successful in basketball. That's what you have right here, and that's what you want to be a part of, and that's what you're trying to sell. And I think, Joey, they can do that really well with this group here.
Yeah, they can. They've shown that so far. And there's nothing like when a team reflects the city, the state that they're a part of.
The best.
Right? And that's where you really gravitate towards it because we want these guys, JMV, like you said. We love these guys. They're like us. They're blue collar going back to a decade ago. They got the blue collar. They got the gold swagger. They're playing like we want to see our teams play here in this city and in this state. And I'm just excited as hell about it, man. I'm fired up, ready to go. Robert Mathis the other night, I don't know if you saw his tweet. Yeah. He said, hey, I got 6 goon fouls that I could give if you need me off the bench.
Let's
I'm
go.
right there with them. I got 6 goon fouls.
Can you imagine
lined
him
up.
setting a pick on you?
That's all right.
He's been a Pacer fan for a long time, too.
Yeah. One other thing to expand on Joey's point, too. When you talk about a team that represents the city, take a look at all of the former players that have come back that want to just be a part of this.
Yep.
You have Reggie Miller sitting there the other night. Rick Smits was there the other night. We've had...
That was an emotional moment with Reggie there.
Big Al has been here.
Yep.
So many guys...
Lance.
Have all been, Lance Stevenson was in the building the other night. I don't know if he is or not. Is Larry going to be at the game tonight?
I know
he's
is.
in town.
Yeah, I think.
Wow, we're going to get Legend in.
Well, I know this because I talked to Chad Buchanan earlier this morning. They were working out guys because, I mean, the draft comes 5 seconds after the end of the NBA Finals.
Right.
So they're working out guys earlier today as draft prospects, and Larry was a part of that as he is as a consultant. So, yeah, I would expect it.
Hey,
Certainly.
JMV, I just want to thank you again for all you do, for all you've been a part of this city, for having me on. This is really awesome to be here, and I'm just excited as hell to be a part of it, man.
You got to do some stand-up here?
Too, man.
You got to do some stand-up here? Where are you doing stand-up next?
Not anything coming up in the summer. I'm looking for fall around the Midwest, Milwaukee, Chicago, Pittsburgh, probably here.
So let me tell you a quick story about Joey. And I've always loved Joey. But Joey was way ahead of where we needed to be in comedy, right?
Yeah.
And when Joey was younger, he and Ben Polizzi.
Yeah.
Who I also love. I can't tell you how much I love
Just keep a shirt on the dude for a second, okay? Good job.
But here's what happened. They were so good at comedy and so edgy. They were doing stuff that was really funny, but I couldn't put it on the website because it was a little bit
partners.
It was a little bit blue, right?
Yeah, I get
but
it.
It was funny as hell. So I know people don't believe me when I say this, but when I saw both those guys just completely blow up on social media, I was not surprised at all. I was so happy for them and so proud for them. And I'm telling you,
good dude.
Now that I'm back around again, you're going to start hearing Joey more and more with different things on the radio station. I haven't figured it all out yet, but we've talked a few times. But I want to get him involved again somewhere, somehow, doing some stuff. And I hope we get to hear more of you as the weeks move on.
Me too, pal. Me too, pal.
All right,
Thanks,
good to see you, Jeff. Good to see you too, Joey. Good to see you too. Hey, quick break. We'll come back. Mark Kestisher, he is the voice of ESPN Radio, the NBA Finals. He joins us on the other side. Pivot Balcony Bar, Michelob Ultra before game number 4. Thank you for joining us, Nathaniel. Great job. Mark Kestisher next. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
See ya.
the fan, how big it was big, but where would you slot? Because I think you made a good point. Because we made a lot out of game 2 when Wiggins and Caruso went for a combined 38 in that win. But then you get a combined 37 off the bench with Matherin and McConnell. How big in the grand scheme of things was that compared to how magnified we looked at that effort off the bench the Thunder got in game number 2? Because I thought the Pacer bench performance, especially with those two, was right up there as important as anything that happened.
Yeah, I think it was the swing in the game, and it was another guy who hasn't gotten any credit at all, at least for me, not from me, but for what I've read and seen and listened to, and that would be Ben Shepherd. I thought when Oklahoma City got off to the quick start, I think they were up 8 points in the first quarter. We went to a timeout, and Rick Carlisle came back with a bunch of subs, including Shepherd. And I thought Ben, for a young guy taking on the MVP, I thought defensively, he did a really good job and started to set that tone against SGA. I know it was early in the game, but it was the start of to be, this bench onslaught. And, we know Matherin is capable. He's obviously had plenty of 20-point games and has had a handful of 30-point games this year. But, when you look at the box score at the end of the night, you're like, holy cow, that guy was 9 for 12. When we knew he had 27, but that was a legit game that was needed from them. So I think it was as important as it was for Oklahoma City, maybe more so for the Pacers, because I felt like the Thunder had that game 2 all the way. It never really got back into single digits or felt like Indiana was threatening. And yet Oklahoma City came back despite what the bench did, despite giving up a 40-point quarter in the second, and the Pacers were down 5 going to the fourth. So maybe in many ways I'm talking myself into there was even a better, bigger impact for the Indiana bench on Wednesday.
To Mark Kestecher with us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Before I cut you loose here, you think at all that the Thunder feel like going back to the bigs a little bit more, maybe even as starters right here, or do you think that they're still cool with going small and then doing what they've done so far? Mark is back. Hey, Mark, I was wasting some time there waiting on you dealing with hyperbole. I happen to think this is the biggest. I think this is the biggest game in the history of the NBA Pacers, at least until further notice, coming up later on tonight. Might you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, with a chance to go up 3-1 at home versus 2-2 when making it a best of 3 with only one more home game left possible, it just feels like a great opportunity. Obviously, you don't have to go too far back to remember Cleveland coming back down 3-1 to beat Golden State, but it's the only time it's happened in the finals in NBA history. So, I hate to be prisoner of the moment and prisoner of the exact moment, but it does feel like it's a great opportunity for Indiana. Even a loss, I don't put anything past the Pacers anymore. They've made believers out of me. But I would agree with you wholeheartedly. It's an unbelievable opportunity.
That is Mark Kestecher. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, the ESPN Radio National Call. He's up on golf. He's the nuncio to the Noonan of Jeff Rickard playing golf, I guess, around here in terms of Caddyshack. And also from 1980, up on his original Friday the 13th trivial knowledge. I'm very impressed, Mark. I appreciate you.
I'm old enough for that. However, I don't think I watched Rocky past Rocky 3, so I thank you for that musical reference because I didn't make it past the Drago Rocky 3.
I just anything that gets me to work out, anything where Rocky had to start like bench pressing Paulie, I thought that was a really good moment of motivation right there. Always,
well,
was it not? So, yeah.
We're enjoying your city. You have the best vantage point right now of the arena. I'm looking out my hotel room right into, is it Victory Park, the AAA Indians here? I'm watching them warm up over there. So
Victory Field. You're in the JW right now?
Yes, yep, right across the street.
Oh, hell. So, are you checking out tonight? Are you already checked out? Because I'll send people over there to party in your room. If you want.
You know what? I remember when the Spurs won the championship in 2005, and they honked horns till 6 in the morning, so I'm prepared for anything.
My brother, I appreciate you more than you know. Have a great call later on tonight. You're a pleasure, and we'll catch up hopefully later on in the series.
Absolutely. Great to be on with you, and enjoy the game tonight.
That's Mark Kestisher, ESPN Radio, the national play-by-play voice on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. More to come, coming up in just a second, live from Pivot downtown Michelob Ultra. The second floor on the balcony. We're at the Hyatt House, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Up, homeboy. Ooh, all right, I will. Yeah, I know. I'm on it. They can wait till I'm done with this. Give me a minute. We'll do you first, Eddie. Are you ready? Okay, game open. Thunder 3, game 4, 2, 1. Good evening and welcome to a night of playoff basketball with the Indiana Pacers. Tonight, game 4 in a best-of-7 NBA championship series as the Pacers take on the Oklahoma City Thunder at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, downtown Indianapolis, Indiana. The Pacers moved in front 2-1 in this series on Wednesday night, defeating the Thunder 116-107. The fourth quarter decisive. Indiana outscored Oklahoma City in that quarter 32-18, and now in the postseason. In addition to leading this series 2-1, the Pacers have gone 14-5, 7-2 on the home floor. Jalen Williams was strong for Oklahoma City in Game 3. He had 26 points, but the Thunder normally very careful with the ball. They were the least turnover-prone team in the NBA during the regular season. They gave it up 19 times in that Game 3 loss. Turnovers have been a big story in this playoff. In addition to turning the ball over less frequently than any team, Oklahoma City also forces more than any team, and they have coaxed the Pacers into an average of 18 turnovers per game through the first 3 games. Following tonight's game, the scene shifts back to Oklahoma City. That'll be Game 5 on Monday. If a 6th game is necessary, it would be on this floor next Thursday. A 7th and deciding game in this NBA championship series would take place in Oklahoma City 1 week from this Monday. Tonight in downtown Indianapolis, it's the Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Our on-site engineer, Scott Fenstermaker, our studio producer, Eddie Garrison. With Pat Boylan and Eddie Gill, I'm Mark Boyle. Stay with us. We'll get to the starting lineups when we come back. You're listening to the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals head-to-head for the NBA Championship on the Elevance Health Radio Network.
JMV.
If peeing your pants is cool,
all right, lineups,
consider
3,
me.
2, 1. Welcome back to downtown Indianapolis. Tonight, the Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder head-to-head. The Pacers.
Obviously in tune with the blue and gold and the JMV takeover with Father's Day. I do have coming up tomorrow night for Father's Day, I have your chance to win on the JMV takeover tickets to see I Want My 80s at the Fishers Event Center. That features John Waite, Paul Young, Wang Chung, and Rick Springfield. That show is coming up at the Fishers Event Center on Tuesday. My friends, that is going to be an absolute must attend. And I've got tickets for you coming up tomorrow night on the JMV takeover on B105.7. Sorry, Eddie, did you see that? I was distracted for a moment. I'll get back to it right now. No, Eddie saw that distraction. But no, tomorrow night on the JMV takeover, we're going to have your chance to win those tickets a couple of different times from 6 until midnight. Coming up on Monday, clearly starting at 7 a.m. with the morning show, going to Aquarian Company at noon, and then me at 3. We got you covered, and we're going to get you set for the remainder of this series. Again, tonight, we'll see what happens with OKC, a bounce-back situation opportunity for them. And did the Pacers find a little bit of something they can utilize for game number 4 at the tail end of game number 3. That is incredibly important to see if they were able to maybe cultivate something. Defensively speaking, with the 18 points they held OKC to in the fourth quarter, with the 17 turnovers that they forced against OKC. And with 24 points, even with the, I don't want to say an off game for the MVP, but let's just say, for example, they held SGA in check in that game number 3. Is there anything that they can take away from that performance that they can put to game number 4 coming up later on tonight? I think that's obviously a big deal for them coming up later on this evening. And whether or not OKC decides to go a little bit differently with the lineup, maybe a little bit more with the bigs, we shall see with Hartenstein and Holmgren. And remember, in game number 3, Holmgren got off to a fantastic fourth quarter start, but it was clear that he ran out of gas late in that game. See if the Pacers can find anything from that. Again, coming up later on tonight, game number 4, and the winner of this game, in my opinion, ends up winning the NBA Finals and will be and I know obviously for the Pacers in the NBA, a first-time champion. You know, OKC has the 79 Supersonics to lean on, but will that be the case coming up on at the end of the NBA Final? We shall see. All right, hey, I want to thank everybody for being involved in this, too. Great to see you guys as well. I'm going to thank Dev, the on-site engineer, Kevin and Chris here with promotions. Nathaniel, outstanding job out of you today, as always. Nathaniel, by the way, does a great deal of the JMV Takeover production. Just outstanding from Nathaniel today as well, in for James. And coming up next, going to be outstanding. Pacer pregame. Pat Boylan, Mark Boyle, Eddie Gill will get you started for game number 4 with Pacer pregame. Tim and Ben, thank you for Pivot the Balcony Bar. Thank you to my friends here as well, Michelob Ultra, for allowing me to be a part of this inside the Hyatt House. Coming up next, Pacer pregame. Thank you for joining this 5-hour show. It has been a blast right here, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.